Got Your Back Pod Stream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com. Oh yeah, baby. Off night podcast during the playoffs. Love it. Let's talk some game 4 setup, shall we? Injury updates and information was down at both skates today, gathering intel on the likes of Rupe Hintz, on the likes of Matthias Ekholm. What's up with Calvin Pickard, Connor Brown? If you haven't had a chance to get yourself up to speed today, you've come to the right place. We got your back. We're going to dial it all in. Going to be a great show tonight. We got Brownie, we got Struds, and Steve Taylor. Yeah, simply Steve. It's been a little while. Happy to have him back at the controls. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Looking forward to a great show tonight. As always, brought to you by Play Alberta. When you gamble, use your game sense. Play Alberta makes it easy to set deposit limits, time limits, and more, so you can play casino games, bet on sports safely, securely, and responsibly. Everything that you need to know is at playalberta.ca. Coming at you from my Adrenaline Diesel studio. If you need a part manufactured, replicated, or repaired, Adrenaline Diesel has you covered with their brand new machine shop. Visit adrenalinediesel.ca. The fellas are all ready to rock and roll, and from the dark side of the moon comes Jason Strudwick. That shot is just filled with intrigue, Struddy. I want to know what's on the right side of that, like what's in behind you on the right side. It's
you
dark,
don't
it's mysterious.
You don't want to know. Trust me. No, I'm trying to go with the sexier, more intriguing look for the viewers tonight. I think it's working. Pulling it off so far, 10 seconds in.
How's Nashville? How's it been?
It's good. Yeah, I mean, this city, it's changed a lot. I was here maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and it's changed. It's exploding. Like I remember we first started coming here, and Steve would remember there was just 1 or 2 hotels that kind of downtown. Now there's everywhere, and there's condos. Like, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable place. Brown, do you love it here?
I love Nashville. I've done 2 golf trips there with 20 guys both times. It was unbelievable, but it was a little grittier when we were there and cheap. I've heard it's it's more like Vegas now when it comes to prices. Used to be able to go buy a round for 20 guys for $80. Now it'll cost you about $800. So, yeah. But it is a fun town. The music is awesome, and it's a party. Everyone was in a good mood when I was in Nashville. Everybody, wherever you were, was in a good mood. So that's my kind of town.
Steve Taylor, welcome back to the show, buddy. We've missed you. How you doing?
Good, boys. Glad to be back. I feel like Jeff Skinner just sitting on the sidelines ready, just chomping at the bit to get a show
here. There's a difference, though. You're back in the lineup, Steve.
I'm back in the lineup. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Zuby finally had the confidence to bring me in for one, so.
Love it. You spent years on the road going to Nashville as well. Any good Nashville memories you can actually share there, Steve-O?
Absolutely. Nashville was the greatest because the hotel that the team stayed at was right across the street from the rink. So, yeah. And then that was essentially just, half a block away from the strip of all those bars. So we'd get there and just go hit all those until way too late. And then you could skip the team bus in the morning and just stroll over to the rink just in time for morning skate or practice or whatever it was. And just sit quietly in that cold rink and, with your hangover and then wait for it to end, do my job and then head back to the hotel. It was the greatest for that reason. Yeah. Such good times.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, boys. Well, we're a little bit of a different shape to the show tonight. We're going to get to the breakdown here right away. Then right after the breakdown, we're going to go to Struddy's world, and we're going to get whatever's on the big guy's big brain. And then we're going to let Struddy go because he's got one night left in Nashville, and we got to let him cut it up. So, Struddy, we're not going to keep you for too long tonight. And then Brownie and I are going to land the plane through the back half of the show, Struds. So we're only keeping you for one segment, Struds. You better bring it.
Oh, I'll deliver. Have ever not? It's like the mailman.
Well, actually, they've been on strike multiple.
It's not the best one right there.
Is there a postal strike?
Wow.
There's going to be.
Potentially.
Jeez,
we
I
love our
just left.
postal workers. We love our postal workers. Yeah. Okay. Let's just push past that. Just bring it, Struds. Point being, just bring it. I'm not sure what Struddy's world is going to be, but looking forward to it. By the way, one-on-one interview with Evander Kane today as well. We shot that for TSN. It was spent the day on tsn.ca, so we're going to run that. Also, lots of other content on tsn.ca right now that you can grab. Pierre Lebrun is in town from The Athletic, so him and I broke down the series. That's available on TSN's YouTube page as well as tsn.ca. So a full day worth of coverage is there. And then we'll be on Jay Onride's show a little bit later on tonight as well. So you can check that out as well on the main network. As we speak, as we're taping this, Carolina with a 1-0 lead over the Florida Panthers in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Final. That will end while we're doing this show. And if Florida wins, no, we're not going to shift focus of the show to talk about an Oilers-Panthers Stanley Cup Final. We're going to hold off on that regardless if the Panthers win this game. But Evander Kane one-on-one and lots of injury stuff to get to here. So let's get to our breakdown brought to you by the Alberta Ram dealers. Ram trucks continue to deliver with power, style, and innovation. The 2025 Ram 1500 features a bold new powertrain, redesigned exterior, and state-of-the-art technology. Check out the most awarded light-duty truck ever. See your Ram dealer today. Let's take them one at a time. First and foremost, we know Connor Brown will not be in the lineup for game number 4. Great little exchange here between Jim Matheson, the Hall of Fame legend media guy, and the head coach Chris Knobloch in the Weiss Johnson soundbox.
Connor Brown, is he out for tomorrow?
Connor Brown is out tomorrow.
How did you see the hit?
Maybe possibly the same way you saw it.
I thought it was a hard hit. Is that how you saw it?
Hard would have been part of my answer, yes.
And not clean is the second part?
Those are your words, not mine.
All right. So Jim Matheson having some fun with the head coach there. So no Connor Brown for the next game, gentlemen. Matthias Ekholm skated today, and he continues to look really, really good here. We won't know until tomorrow. So, Struds, I'll start with you, buddy. Connor Brown out, Matthias Ekholm maybe in. We will see. What do you think of that swing for the Oilers in losing Brown and maybe getting Ekholm back?
Well, I mean, the two, obviously Connor Brown's been a really good player. He's only almost a half a point a game here for a guy, and he brings energy, he kills penalties, and he brings a lot of tempo and speed to this lineup. So whoever goes in for him won't have the same speed. Skinner and or Arvidsson don't have the same amount of speed as Connor Brown. They don't really kill penalties or haven't on this team at least. So the Ekholm thing coming back, though, you're getting your best defenseman, best all-around defenseman back. And even if he's not 100%, I want him back. If the doctors say he's good to go, and I'm sure this staff will make sure that's the case, you're getting your best all-around D-man back. That's crazy. It's like when Heiskanen came back for Dallas. It's really, really important. So the idea, well, Stetcher's playing good. Yeah, that's too bad. His job is to play until everyone else is healthy, and then he's out. I've been that guy. I know it sucks, and it's not fair. And he doesn't deserve to come out of the lineup, but he will come out. And I do think they'll go 12-6 if he does play, to keep the balance up front and not wreck the chemistry that's on the back end as far as playing with 7, because that can happen.
Yeah, I think I think they'll go 11-7. I do. I just don't. I mean, it's not a perfect world. You're not replacing Connor Brown when you throw Ekholm in. Ekholm makes you a better hockey club, but up front you're not as strong. It's an easy way to bring Ekholm in without taking out one of the defensemen. I know that Strud says Stetcher will be the guy coming out, and it's probably him, but he doesn't deserve to come out. And this way you can put Ekholm in, and I understand defensemen hate going 7D men. They really do. But I think it's an easy out for this coaching staff, and they don't take the easy outs, and we've seen that over the past. They're good at making tough decisions, but I predict that they will go 11-7, and Ekholm will jump in the lineup tomorrow night.
So I think I'll challenge you there, Brownie. The problem is that they've had Skinner and Arvidsson out for a long time. So they got to, at some point, they might need more. So you can't just leave them on the sidelines forever. You need to come
what's
back
2 more days?
Play.
What's 2 more days?
I mean,
Skinner's been out since the first game of the year of the playoffs. What's 2 more days?
And maybe I'll take Skinner's name out of it, but you're probably going to have an injury between now and the end of this run, whenever it is. So
maybe.
I don't think Kevin Arvidsson sit out. They had Stetcher played, was it 10 straight or something like that, I think, or maybe not 10 straight, but
a little less, something like that, 7, 8.
Yeah. So I take him down, and then you put in Arvidsson, and you get some fresh legs, and Arvidsson jump, although he doesn't have the speed that he does. And then you got Ekholm. So you're right, though. D-men hate the 7. It just ruins the flow, man. It's less room back there. It's just. I don't know. They haven't really done it much all year, or not recently, at least. I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it at all.
So what about the pairings then, Struds? Like if you're flat out pulling Stetcher, then what are you doing with the pairings? Because now you've got to mess with a number of pairings that have been working. Like they have been working. So Evan Bouchard has been playing pretty good minutes alongside Kulak. Wallman and Klingberg have worked pretty well together. And Nurse and Stetcher has worked fairly well. So by doing this, you essentially mess with all three pairings, and they're all, to a degree, they're all working nicely. So what is the fix? I mean, obviously you go 14-2, and then where are you at after that? Are you back to Nurse and Kulak together, and then you just leave Wallman and Klingberg?
I think that's it. That's the piece the path of least resistance. Kulak and Nurse have played together. We know what Bouchard and Ekholm can do. So you're reinforcing that pairing with two, although Kulak's been good there. You're not touching the other guys that move the puck really well. Then you put Kulak back with Nurse. I had some buddies text me, is it a good idea to put him back in? If Ty Jones is playing well on the fourth line and Connor McDavid was one of his out, would you hold out Connor McDavid? Like, it makes no sense at all. I can't even imagine not putting him in as soon as he's healthy. You put him back in. He's your best all-around D-man. There's no reason you wouldn't put him back in. It just, if he's there, Stetcher's out. That's the game. That's the gig.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. If he's ready, you take him out, or you put him in. And we may flip-flop whether it's 11-7 or 12-6, but Ekholm goes in the lineup. If he's given the green light, you don't care what your record is. He is the same as Connor or Leon or Nuge or Hyman. When one of your best players come back and he's healthy, he goes in the lineup no matter what you did the night before or the 3 weeks before. It does not matter.
It's so true. Like,
no, he goes in.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
It makes no sense.
Yeah. Jackie M says, Shaugger, you put Kulak back with Nurse and roll with your traditional Ekholm, Bouchard, Wallman, and Klingberg. Kulak has proven he can play with anything. Great point, Jackie. As we were just discussing there, Evan Bouchard and Brett Kulak, as of right now, at even strength, are 5-0, goals for, goals against, 16-11 shots for, shots against. So they've done a good job there. Evan Bouchard in the series is 24-17 shots for and against. The possession numbers are really, really strong. And I'm not suggesting, no one would suggest that you don't put Ekholm back in when the doctors say to put him back in and he's ready to go. Brownie, you just think maybe in case there's an issue, so maybe you don't have to give him such big minutes. You play that seventh defenseman for one game, insulate yourself a little bit until you know he's good, and then go back to 6 the following game. Knobloch did say he was open to it, by the way. I asked.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
100% I would do that. And you have a fourth line with 2 players on it. And guess what? You get to double shift Connor or Leon or Nuge. So it's not a bad problem for as much as defensemen hate 7, forwards love 11. It's the exact opposite. They love it. That's extra ice time. You're getting some double shifts here or there. So Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins and those guys getting a little bit extra ice time. It also plays havoc on what Dallas is trying to do. They want to get their fourth line out there. Now the fourth line is going to be going out against the Oilers' fourth line that has 97 or 29 on it. So either way, I don't think either way works. Whatever Knobloch feels, there's not a bad decision here. I'm just guessing they'll go 11-7. Simply a guess. That's what I would do.
Yeah, and I like where your head's at. I mean, this is a really positive thing, getting Ekholm back. I didn't think we'd see him till the final at the earliest. So this is a really, really positive thing for them to come back and get this opportunity here to get him in the lineup and keep contributing. I'll say it again. I think he really helps the penalty kill. I really think he'll help stabilize that. Although Lord's haven't been taking a lot of penalties.
Line combination wise, with Connor Brown coming out, let's assume that they go 12 forwards. Let's just assume that. And let's talk a little bit about line strategy here. The head coach is in another one of those moments where it's not crystal clear, at least not to me, what the right thing is to do to start next game. A little bit of a pivotal turning point here because they don't love the way that second period went. And in that third period, as we discussed on the last show, he put McDavid and Draisaitl together, constructed some lines without Connor Brown, and they got better results. They blew the doors off in that third period. So my question, gentlemen, is where should Chris Knoblauch start out game 4 with his lines? Is it McDavid and Draisaitl together, the nuclear option? By the way, it was pointed out to me, I've been saying nuclear wrong all the time. I say nuclear, and apparently it's nuclear. Did you notice that? Did you guys notice that?
Oh,
You're the boss. We're not allowed to correct you. We've been warned. We had to sign that thing that your wife sent the contract over.
We're here to make each other better. You guys need to.
We're not allowed to question you. Randine said that, so I nod and smile whenever you say something silly.
It's like I've been walking around with my zipper open for 4 seasons on the pod, and we've been talking about this nuclear option for 4 seasons. You guys don't correct me, Struds.
Yeah, no, I noticed it, and we have a list of things, so we'll just drop one a month.
Oh, really? Okay, I challenge both of you to get through the rest of this segment without saying 100%. Okay, that's my challenge to you two. While we're picking each other apart here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that'll be easy.
Well, I'm 80% sure I can get that done.
I'm 99% sure I can.
What the hell were we just talking about? Line combinations. Yeah Struds. I was talking too much. Strud, what are you doing with the lines, buddy?
Yeah, they did look good in the third. I'm going to go back to where they were before, the four deep. It's worked for you. It wasn't, he did change up after last game, but I go back to what he was before. And again, if we assume there's 12 in, I think it's just a simple put Arvidsson on the third line. I really think he fits in with the identity of that line and what they're trying to do. Tempo, I don't love the tempo there then. It changes because every other line has had that element of heaviness, kind of a crafty player, and then some speed. And if you put Arvidsson on there, that line is missing speed, Brownie.
Well, I've said it from the beginning. Leon Draisaitl, I don't like his second line. And I understood what Knoblauch did. He wanted to go against Eichel, and they did a good job. But the second line for the Oilers have played 5 games. They've scored 1 goal, an important goal. But this is Leon Draisaitl. He's he would have won the MVP if he didn't get hurt. He might have won and probably would have won the scoring championship if he didn't get hurt. He's got his line has 1 point in 5 games. So to me, I go with Connor, Leon, and Perry. I go with Kane, Hyman, and Nugent Hopkins that were excellent together in the third period. I go Henrique with so we're saying that we're going 12 and 6. So I'm going Henrique with Kapanen and who's the left winger that goes there? Because I got Janmark,
Frederick.
Yeah, I got Nugent, I got Perry, or I got Leon, Connor, and Perry. So I've got my third line is Henrique, Kapanen, and Podkolzin.
Okay.
Janmark playing center with Frederic, and I would bring Arvidsson in. Actually, I put Arvidsson on the third line and Podkolzin on the fourth line. Podkolzin, Janmark, and Frederick. And the third line would be Henrique, Kapanen, and Arvidsson.
Okay. I think we were pretty close, Brownie. I stayed nuclear with McDavid, Draisaitl, and Perry. I went Kane, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, Podkolzin, Henrique, and Kapanen. So I just kept those 2 wingers together and I gave them to Adam Henrique instead. And then the other 2 with Matthias Janmark. So Struddy, would it surprise you if I were to tell you that the Evander Kane, Adam Henrique, Connor Brown line, I'm not sure sort of what your thought would be on how they have been together and how they have played in this series, but it would surprise you if I told you that at even strength, they've been outshot 17-3. Yeah. Kane, Henrique, and Connor Brown at evens.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that as well. And I get it. So are you moving your lines to where they were before because of what happened in the third period the good stuff, or you got away from that line that we're talking about?
Yeah, getting away from the combination of Henrique, Kane, and somebody else on the other wing. I like Nugent Hopkins and Hyman together with Evander Kane right now. I think those two, Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, are both drivers right now. So I think you're fine to put them together. I think that gives you license to go with the big guys together on the top line because those two are playing so well. I think Evander Kane's ready for a bigger bite here than he was getting on that line. And I think Corey Perry, this series is okay for Corey Perry to get some minutes. It's not this crazy speedster, insane. I think Corey Perry would be fine up there for a little bit, and time for him to get a little bit more of a look. Struds.
Yeah, no, that all makes sense. I get it. And then do you put Connor's line up against who? Do you look for a favorable matchup? Like away
I put him
from
against
Mikko's
anybody.
line?
Any matchup is
I
favorable
agree
with those two.
But I agree with that. But do you want him to play against Mikko so they can handle those guys, and or do you just say put someone else against Mikko? Like someone's got to play against Mikko's line, and Rupe Hintz sounds like he's going to try to play, but everyone's going to say
he'll
that
be hampered.
Yeah, so
honestly,
you can say. I mean, everyone says they're going to try to play, but it doesn't mean you're going to play.
Or you're going to be that good when you do play.
Yeah, good point.
I'm probably fine with any one of those first three lines out there on any given shift against Rantanen.
Okay.
Like I'm okay with Henrique and Podkolzin and Kapanen if they're playing well. If they come out and have energy and are playing well, I'm okay if you end up in that situation with those guys. So far, the balance of ice time. So Connor McDavid, most minutes at even strength among forwards has been Mikko Rantanen. 24 minutes and 16 seconds at even strength for Connor McDavid against Mikko Rantanen, and it's 3-0 goals for McDavid and 15-11 shots for. So that matchup, when they're out there head-to-head, has obviously gone pretty significantly the Oilers' way. Okay, so there's line combinations. What else did I want to get to here? Oh, just a quick update on the Stars. Rupe Hintz. So he skated today. And I have to say, guys, he looked fine out there. Looked like he was skating well. Now, I wasn't in the building yesterday, Brownie. Did you watch warm-up? Were you surprised that Hintz came out after warm-up, or did you see?
I wasn't. No, I was still in Studio 99 doing our show.
No problem.
So by the time I got up there, he was already off, and Bob Stauffer right away said he skated for 4 minutes and he was gone.
Yeah.
So to me, it was. That's why I was surprised that he's be playing tomorrow, because it's only 48 hours when you couldn't skate to when you were going to skate. So
we thought he looked.
I hope he
today.
does play. Yeah, I hope he plays.
Yeah.
I want all teams at full health. I want to see when you beat a team, I want to see them beat them at their fullest. And Rupe Hintz is a big part of the Dallas Stars. So, and I'd like to see Ekholm back in the lineup because he's a big part of the Edmonton Oilers. So I want all teams to be healthy so that you can see best on best.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
Shaugger, he practiced for a whole, I'm guessing 20, 30 minute skate. He skated the whole time.
It was an optional skate today, and he was out there for, no, I would say he was out there for maybe 20, 25 minutes. Oh, wow. It's hard, though, because you go out there and you take a look. I watched him for a few minutes, but then you got to get underneath because you need to be there when they come off. Yeah. So, he skated today. And based on the video, he looked decent. I didn't really notice much. He looked okay.
So that's a big improvement from not being able to take warm-up, where they probably at least taped an aspirin to it, and then you're skating the next day for 20 minutes. That's a massive improvement. So based on that, I'll be surprised if he doesn't skate and play in Game 4 Tuesday night.
Okay. Who replaces Connor Brown on the penalty kill, you think, Struds? That's a big loss there for the kill. I'm not sure how many power plays the Stars will end up getting, but when they lose Brown, they lose one of their better penalty killers. It always seems is it just me, or is he on a 2-on-1 shorthanded every game?
The speed.
I think it'd be Podkolzin, wouldn't it, Struds?
Yeah, because who is it? Connor Brown and Nuge?
No, it's Janmark.
Oh, Henrique.
Isn't it Janmark?
Janmark and
with
Brown.
Connor Brown.
Yeah.
Nuge and Henrique, and lately McDavid and Hyman have been killing quite a bit.
Yeah, so one of those two guys probably gets to give probably Podkolzin.
Oh no, I think they'd stay together. I think you go Janmark and Podkolzin then.
Then he maybe put out Do you maybe put out Nuge and Henrique first?
They always start those two first. Yeah, because they always take the opening face off.
Yeah, that's probably the guy then, Podkolzin. He's done it.
All right. Good stuff. All right. That was our breakdown brought to you by the Alberta Ram Dealers. Struddy, we're going to get to Relentless Player here, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services at Edmonton Charity Relentless, in providing possibility for the youth in our community. Mental health is the foundation for growth and success and the key to thriving, not just surviving. They got 2 in-house counselors providing free therapy sessions to their youth, so they support them while they navigate their struggles and rediscover their strength. Visit ucan.ca to donate today. Got your back. Proud monthly donors to UCAN Youth Services, and highly encourage you to do the same if you can. Struds, what do you got today, buddy?
I'm no insider, but I do have little birds that sometimes send me information, spread information over to me. And I'm always interested in hearing, different ways that people operate to get out of various cities. And there are those that choose different flights at different times of the day. And some will get up early, get on the first flight of the day. They want to get home and make sure they're safe. And there's others that value rest and relaxation over that, and they get on different flights later on in the day. So, there's, I just give it a nod, a relentless nod to those that choose to get up early and don't value the rest, and they get on the flights early in the day.
Is this some sort of attempted veiled shot at me because a thunderstorm hit Denver?
I don't think it was veiled. I think it was direct. I think it was very aggressive.
Okay.
Hang
on a second.
I had
here.
a call.
Okay.
I can't reveal my source, but I did have a call from someone who could not wait to tell me what happened. It's like, what?
What? Who's calling you to talk about me?
It was so funny. They just said that other people didn't put the premium on sleep that some did. And I know you weren't alone. You weren't alone in this journey, Shaugger, but some got up early and were relentless in their pursuit of getting on an early flight.
Okay. Just so everybody understands the decision that had to be made, the Oilers had a media availability in Dallas the day after Game 2. I took a later flight out so I could get to that media availability.
Right.
So I was at that media availability. I got an exclusive one-on-one with Chris Knobloch, if I do say. And then it was a train wreck flight-wise after that. But Struds, it was not born out of laziness or wanting sleep. It was born out of sheer commitment to my craft as a network journalist covering his beat. Those are 2 very different things, sir. So you take your source and correct him or her as well. It's either Dregs or my wife. I'm not happy.
You could probably yell right now, Shaugger, and the source will be able to hear you. She's just up above you.
What? This is Randine?
Oh, did I say that?
I'm not saying it's his. I'm not saying who it is. I never give up my source, but this source was more than happy to reach out and tell me what happened. And
this is my wife, isn't it? Is this
I've been
Randine?
sitting on this for a while. I don't know. It's gonna be a little uncomfortable in bed tonight, but I don't know. I don't know who it is.
I've told you multiple times, don't text my wife while I'm out of town. Don't phone my wife when I'm out of town. She's off limits while I'm out of town, Struds.
Well, I was out of town too,
right.
so that makes it okay.
That was Relentless Player, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services. Oh, Struds, you rattled me. Roll the animation, Steve. Let's get to Struddy's World, for goodness sakes.
It's frozen for some reason. Let me see if I can figure it out.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, that's okay.
Here we go.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
All right, time for Struddy's World, brought to you by Timberhouse Developments. Need a little extra space for the in-laws? Timberhouse Garden Suites are perfect for keeping them close, but not too close, right? The designs are unique, anything but cookie cutter, and the experience of building with Timberhouse is second to none. They will treat you like family, build you a great house or garden suite, and then they'll take care of you with great service for years to come. Visit timberhouse.ca. Struds?
So this is really a two-part Struddy's World. Number one, I'm going to make an announcement. I did go and visit the world-renowned hair rejuvenist place led by Art Vandelay. And I said, I won't do it. He said, I have no issue really with my hair and come back in 10 years. So I'll be back to see art probably in the next decade. And second part is I told a sad story where I went to a Sherwood Park Crusaders game and I was asked if I should buy a senior citizens ticket when senior citizens was at 60 years old. Well, I'm down here in Nashville, people, and I'm getting carded left and right. I couldn't believe the first time that someone said, I walked up and I'm like, can I get a beer? She's like, can I see your ID? I'm like, I'll show you more than my ID. I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. But that was
Pardon? You creepy old man. What?
I'm just kidding. I didn't say that, but that would have been a good line. And she was like, and she's like, no, I'm serious. We ID everybody over 30. I'm like, oh my God. Or sorry, everyone who looks around 30 and up. I'm like, yeah, no problem. So then it was 3 other times. So four times I was ID'd, all by different people in different areas. And the people I with, they weren't getting ID'd and they looked pretty young, a couple of them old, but I looked younger. So my confidence is back. Hair isn't coming back, but my confidence is back. So thank you, Nashville and Art Vandelay.
I've been to Nashville. I've been in bars there and they ID everybody. I was in there when an older couple was in there. They would have been mid to late 70s. They both got ID'd. The gentleman didn't have any, and they asked him to leave. So and he was late 70s. He looked mid to early 90s. So they ID everybody. So I think the confidence boost might come down a little bit.
He's sitting there feeling proud of him. Every time he walks into a bar, he's sitting there smiling ear to ear, thinking it's something special because he got ID'd. Do you not pay attention, Struds, to the fact that every other person in your party is also getting ID'd? Or are you just zeroed in on yourself?
No, not everyone got into ID'd. Not everyone got ID'd. And I'm not going to lie. I had, and I think myself, another mom and a dad figured out it was this one shirt I was wearing. It was too sexy. In fact, I had to stop wearing it out. I said, my wife's not here. I can't wear this shirt out. It's sending the wrong message. Sending around messages like I'm open for business. So that shirt was on fire. It was like my night out shirt. Not that I really went out too much. It was just like 7, 8 o'clock at night, but still.
Can we discuss this? Who is Art Vandelay? What is this hair thing? What are you talking about with this?
Yeah, so I did go and get a consultation. He runs a hair rejuvenation business down here, and he's quite well known through a lot of parts of this part of the States.
Is he lying about all of this, Brownie? Is this just complete BS?
I stopped listening. As soon as Struddy World starts, I stopped listening. So I haven't heard a word he said. I've been watching the hockey game.
Is this like a Seinfeld thing or something, isn't it?
Who, Art? He's an artist, that's for sure.
Okay. Starting over at 61 says Nashville law states in order to drink in a licensed establishment, ID is required.
What does he know? Look at he's not getting ID'd if you stand beside me. I'll tell you that right now. On my sexy shirt
because
on.
they're gonna think he's your son. He's like, okay, that's the guy's son. That's Struddy's son, so we don't have to ID him.
Okay, Struds, we're setting you loose before you get yourself in trouble tonight. You can bounce, my friend. Go have a great night. Enjoy top floor at Tootsie's. It's a ton of fun, and we'll chat with you after the game tomorrow.
Thanks, boys. I can't wait. I'll see you back in Edmonton.
All right. That was Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber House Developments. Okay, Brownie, let's get serious. Finally, Struds is gone. You and I get to dial down and start having some serious, legitimate, sophisticated hockey talk. That and plenty more is coming up next in our takeaways segment, so stay with us. We'll be right back here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
Choosing the right health and dental coverage can feel overwhelming, but Alberta Blue Cross is here to make it simple. Their user-friendly website features a free quote tool to guide you through choosing your plan, or you can chat directly with one of their specialists for personalized help. Every plan includes access to personal, nutritional, and financial counseling at no extra cost. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/personal to learn more.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
All right, time now for some takeaways brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. The key to a great looking property, starts with a quality mower. Visit your local Horizon Ag and Turf dealership to browse their inventory of John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers. From 42-inch mower decks all the way to 72-inch decks, you can find the right mower for you at Horizon Ag and Turf. Visit them online at horizonagturf.com to browse their inventory today. All right, Brownie, talking a little Chris Knobloch during his availability today, talking a little strategy and such. We know one of the big challenges for the Oilers against the Dallas Stars was going to be shutting down their rush game. A lot of talk coming in about Dallas being excellent off the rush, one of the best teams over the last couple of years when it comes to doing this. Obviously, not having Rupe Hintz last game is going to hurt you. But in the last 3 games, this is the way it has gone. Chances off the rush. 8-7 Oilers in game number 1. 6-6, a saw-off in game number 2. Then actually 12-5 Oilers in game number 3. That according to Sport Logic. Chris Knobloch asked about the job his team has done against the rush so far in this series.
Left side standing, Jim. Connor Brown is the out.
Oh, wait a minute. What was that?
Left side standing.
I think probably for me the biggest
that's
factor.
not it.
So
damn it, I think I deleted the clip I need. Let me try one more time here.
Left side standing, Jim.
Okay, yeah. Shoot. Damn it. Deleted the clip, Brownie. That's my bad. What have you seen, Brownie, off the rush that the Oilers have done a good job of against the Stars?
Well, puck management. Plays coming off the rush is usually when you turn the puck over. When you have 3 forwards or 3 players going north, you turn the puck over usually in the neutral zone or around the blue line. Your guys are going north. They take it away from you. They start coming back and they got numbers. The others have been very good at puck management. We've seen Connor and Leon at times dump the puck in, understanding the situation, playing game management. Okay, we got a 1-goal lead. We got a 2-goal lead. I could try this guy one-on-one. But the safe play is to get it in deep, force them to come the whole length of the ice. They're not trying any hope plays. So there's not the 80-foot pass through the neutral zone that can get knocked down. Players in the NHL nowadays are too good, eye-hand coordination. So there's a lot of stretch passes, but their stretch passes are straight up the ice, up along the boards. And those ones don't usually get turned over. So the biggest thing for me, puck management has been outstanding in this series. And the team that made all the big mistakes last game were the Dallas Stars, and that's why the Oilers had all those odd man breaks. They tried forcing things, turning the puck over, and the Oilers took full advantage.
Yeah, Pete DeBoer talked about that a little bit today, how much you get pushing, when you're chasing the game. We'll hear more from Pete DeBoer coming up in our core adjustment segment, some of his thoughts on where his team is at. A few of the other key metrics from Sport Logic: slot shots, 37-28. For the Oilers in the series. High danger chances, 34-28 for the Dallas Stars. And chances off the cycle are 29-23 for the Dallas Stars. So a couple of areas there where they are coming out front. But Brownie, I think, the Oilers have done a good job of starting games well and not backing their way into these games. They're jumping out to leads here. And I think that's been problematic for the Stars chasing. And I know you don't think that it necessarily matters who scores first, and I'll give you that. But at the same time, starting a game right, playing well early on in games, I think does matter. It just shows, you're on the right side of it. So I think the Oilers have done some maturing on that front, even over, earlier on in these playoffs, but certainly last year.
Yeah and no. Again, I don't think it's that big a deal. I mean, no team is good for the entire 60 games. Both teams have pushes. When you're controlling the play, you need to be rewarded when you control the play. A great example is the second period yesterday. The Dallas Stars were by far the better team. It wasn't even close. Not even close. But they weren't rewarded in that period. Both teams scored. It was even coming out of it. So they both got a goal. So the Dallas Stars, all that work for naught. So is it better to play with a lead? Sure, but it doesn't guarantee you anything. The Oilers, even in the games that they fell behind in the LA series, they had some good shifts to start. And then they would take a penalty or 2 penalties. And that's how they got behind the 8 ball. It wasn't poor play. It was poor penalty killing or dumb penalties. So the Oilers, last game, though, there is an example where the Dallas Stars have a chance to have a power play because Kulak shot the puck over the glass. I think it's more important for the Dallas Stars to have a lead. So I think that is true. And Dallas should have had a power play. The refs decide it's not. It was a bad call by the referees. 46 seconds later, the Oilers have 2 goals. So in the time that the Dallas Stars could have had a power play and possible goal, they've fallen behind 2-0. So at that point, you're like, okay, here's where the Dallas Stars, if they get a lead, maybe it's a different hockey game. To me, I don't think it matters who scores first for the Oilers. I certainly think it matters for other teams. And the Dallas Stars, I believe, are a much better team with the lead. And we know that because we saw that in game 1 when they got the lead in the 3rd period. And then the Oilers really had nothing after that. So the Dallas Stars are a better team with the lead. And for the Oilers, just don't allow that to happen will certainly help their odds of winning game 4 and anything after that.
To the Weiss Johnson Soundbox here. Weiss Johnson's proud to host their annual golf tournament in support of the Edmonton Downs Syndrome Society on June 3rd at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. They would love to see you there. All proceeds directly support the Society's efforts to meet the evolving needs of the Down syndrome community. To purchase your tickets and help build a more inclusive and supportive future for the Down syndrome community, email info@weiss-johnson.com. Know for a fact that they still have some space available. So if you have a crew that would like to get out and go golfing, once again, that email address, info@weiss-johnson.com. Jingle.
Weiss Johnson.
Nice, Steve. Nailed it. Calvin Pickard, speaking to the media for the first time today, did skate with his team. He was thrilled to be out there once again for the first time since getting injured. And there's a chance he will back up Stuart Skinner tomorrow night. Here's Pickard.
I knew right away when it happened. It wasn't great. Obviously, it was an awkward collision. You guys probably all saw it, but I was running on straight adrenaline there for the rest of the game. Obviously, a big win. And for the next, I think, 36 hours till that next morning skate before Game 3, I tried to fool my brain into being okay. And I came out. I think it was Thursday morning before Game 3, and tried to skate, but it was not good. And but credit to our medical staff had me dialed in, and when it first happened, I didn't think I was going to be back this fast for sure.
All right, there you go, Calvin Pickard. Safe to say, Brownie, that when Pickard comes back, that Stuart Skinner obviously holds the net. The question I have for you is, Stuart Skinner put himself back in a position where not only does he hold the net, but it's not a guarantee that just because the Oilers, if they were to lose a game, it would be a flip back to Calvin Pickard. Has he earned himself benefit of the doubt starter status, Stuart Skinner?
I believe so. It would have to be a meltdown for him to lose the crease. I know that everyone fell in love with Calvin Pickard and his 6-0 start and the battle that he had, but again, his save percentage was about .880. So it wasn't though as he came in and had a .940 save percentage before he got hurt. Now he won, but it was on the back of a lot of run support as well. So Stuart Skinner is their starter. He will be their starter when Calvin comes back, but I do know that the coaching staff will have faith and trust in Calvin Pickard that if they have to go to him, whether it's this series at any time or in the Stanley Cup Finals, it won't be a hard move for the coaching staff. It will be one that we can do it. But I've said it. I sent it on a tweet to my buddies about 4 or 5 games ago that Stuart Skinner will play the rest of the season, and I'm going to stick with that.
All right. I like that prediction from Brownie. Steve Taylor, hop on in here, buddy. Let's get to our DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll. Also want to remind everybody, we've got Ask Us Anything coming up. So by all means, fire your questions into the stream. You got for Brownie or myself or Steve, and we will get to those in our Ask Us Anything segment. But for now, let's get to the DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll. Golf season, it is here. So dust off the old clubs, buy new ones, grab new grips. Grab some new equipment. Whatever you need, DeBoer's is a great place to go. They will take great care of you. Locally owned and operated, DeBoer's Golf has been in business for over 25 years, and they're ready to help you play better golf. Visit them on the corner of 53rd Avenue and 99th Street at DeBoorsGolf.com. Steve-O, what do you got for a poll tonight, my friend?
Okay, this one came in actually from someone on the chat in a game earlier on. And the question is, whose expiring contract should be the Oilers' top priority to re-sign this offseason? The 4 options are Corey Perry, Trent Frederick, Connor Brown, or Evan Bouchard.
Oh boy. Wow.
I know. It could have been worded differently, I suppose, but top priority.
That's fine. Yeah, and I'll be interested to see, beyond Bouchard, what the priority list looks like there. Brownie, I think we know Bouchard, that contract is a monster. But of those other guys, what do you think, Brownie? Like, has Frederick shown enough yet that you think absolutely 100% the Oilers need to make sure they take a good solid run at signing him?
Well, I think they would like to sign him, but of those 3 other players, he would be he wouldn't be first. Connor Brown would be who you'd pick first, in my estimation. Just look at who's playing right now. Connor Brown's getting quality minutes. He penalty kills. He plays good 5-on-5 minutes. Trent Frederick's a 4th-line player. So it would be good to have him. You love his physicality, but he ain't getting the minutes in the playoffs that Connor Brown is. And this is back-to-back really good playoffs for Connor Brown. Yeah. So Evan Bouchard obviously is going to win that poll. Now, the guy's, what's he, 3rd or 4th in scoring in the playoffs again after going, 3rd last year? So that's your number 1 priority. Connor Brown would be the next one on that list for me.
All right. Vote, and we will go over the results coming up a little bit later on, just before our Ask Us Anything segment. Okay. When we come back, we're going to get to Brownie points and our core adjustments segment. We'll hear from Pete DeBoer a little bit about what he's seeing in the series. Also, a funny moment from DeBoer today evaluating his own team. Not sure if you heard that clip or not, but we are going to get to that. So next segment, we've got Brownie points and we've got core adjustments. Then we still have Taking a Lap, our one-on-one with Evander Kane coming up from tsn.ca, and Ask Us Anything as well. Still lots ahead here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
If you're considering a vinyl fence, don't be fooled by cheap marketplace imitations. Get top quality vinyl fence from a trusted company with 20 years in the industry. With locations in Calgary and Edmonton, check out dlrvinylproducts.ca. You know the music. Time for Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky, the ultimate jerky haul. They've got you covered. 4 pounds of their mouth-watering jerky, $139 plus 5 free jerky-flavored pepperoni sticks with your order, and free shipping Alberta-wide as well. It's a whole lot of premium protein-packed goodness, perfect for road trips, the job site, or being the snack superhero at home. Visit albertajerky.com to order. There is nothing wrong with the jeans I'm wearing in that picture, Struds. I don't know what you're talking about. Brownie?
Well, we're going to start with one huge brownie point to LA Dodger and Canadian national team baseball player Freddie Freeland, who today donated $1 million to the Orange County Children's Hospital. Freddie's son spent over a week in that hospital last year while recovering from Guillain-Barré disease. It shows you Freddie is not only a great great baseball player, but a great humanitarian as well. I got 4 big brownie points to the Four Nations tournament that keeps giving. The success of that tournament, competitive nature and incredible hockey that we saw with the Olympics around the corner. It created a world championship this year that featured many big names that would normally skip it. Canada had McKinnon and Crosby, and the Americans sent one of their best teams in years, and it paid off with Team USA. who had many players trying to be noticed by the Olympic general manager as they won their first gold medal since, and this is not a typo, since 1933. It's been 91 years since the Americans won the World Championships. They did on a Tage Thompson overtime goal, 1-0 against the Swiss. I have 13 brownie points. I'm going to stick with the World Championship. 13 brownie points as the U.S. team showed a ton of love and respect for the legacy of Johnny Gaudreau's. When they posed with their winning trophy after winning the gold medal, they had Johnny Gaudreau's number 13 jersey with them. So he's still in the hearts of all American hockey players, and good on them. And I'm sure Johnny Gaudreau is smiling up above. I have nine brownie points to the Western Hockey League's Medicine Hat Tigers, who are trying to break a 9-year drought at the Memorial Cup for the Western Hockey League that last won the Memorial Cup in 2014, 9 years ago. It was a team from right here, the Edmonton Oil Kings, won it. The Tigers are off to a very good start. They are 2-0 in the tournament. So good luck to the Medicine Hat Tigers, which is really hard, Shaugger, for you and I to say, being we are Kamloops Blazers alumni. But we will band together with Western Hockey League players on this one. And finally, and we can talk about it now because it just ended, I have 3 brownie points. The Carolina Hurricane, who faced elimination tonight in Florida and put together their best game of the series to force Game 5. They are going back to Carolina with a 3-0 victory. And we also found out in this one, Shaugger, too, that the worst series lead in hockey in Florida is 3-0. They have had a hard time closing out those series. We saw that last year in Edmonton. And now the Florida Panthers have to go on the road and try to finish the series because, as we know, rest at this time of year is important. But they are playing at least one more game in a couple days' time. And those, Shaugger, are tonight's brownie points.
Hamel's Premium Jerky brings us our brownie points. You just brought up that game, so let's get to it. We might as well do that in our scoreboard, brought to you by Canadian Club. The all-new CC Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at 58%, their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date. A full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with that butterscotch finish. Ends up in a 3-0 game, Brian. I know you were kind of keeping an eye on it off to the side during the pod here. I was only able to watch part of the first period because I was prepping and everything. What would you say the difference was for the Canes tonight from what you were able to see?
Well, if Struddy was here, relentless was the word. They just were nonstop. They were the better team for the first half of this hockey game. They dominated. They're getting a ton of shots in on Bobrovsky, who was very good. They outplayed Florida. They weren't giving up chances against. And when Florida pushed, Freddie Anderson, who was benched last game, he didn't play the Game 3, came back in and made big saves and got a shutout. So Freddie Anderson was fantastic in the playoffs. He struggled in Games 1 and 2 against the Panthers, gave up, I believe, 5 in both games. They sit him for a game. He comes back and rewards his coaches and his teammates with a 3-0 shutout victory. So to me, it was simple. Carolina's good. And I think what it shows it's really hard to beat a good team 4 straight times. Like, it's really hard. I mean, Carolina was good all year long. I don't know if Carolina has the ability to rise above their regular season like the Oilers do, like Florida does. I think they play at this level all the time. So when you get into a series against a really good team that can actually get a little bit better than they normally are, Carolina can't. But Carolina is good if they get good goaltending. The problem for Carolina is they've just never had that one guy that can score, that game breaker. And tonight, I think it was it was an empty net goal. So they scored 2 tonight. So it's just they are. I think it was 2 empty net goals tonight.
2 empty net goals, Brownie. Yeah. Sebastian Aho and Jordan Stahl got empty netters. It was Logan Stankoven with the goal in the second period. That was the only one that came sort of through the course of regular play. They got a lead and managed to hold on to it.
That's what Carolina is. They just don't score. And their goaltender had to stand on his head tonight and held that one goal allowed them to win the game. But you're not going to win many games against Florida, or if Carolina moves on against the Edmonton Oilers, winning 1-0. And we saw that in the first 3 games of this series where Florida scored 16 goals. So good for Carolina. It's a team I cheer for. I like Rod Brind'Amour. I'm a big fan of Sebastian Aho. So they get to play another game, which, if you're an Oiler fan, is good. That's 1 less day, or 2 less days for sure of rest for the Florida Panthers if they are the team that moves on in the series.
Man, I've been covering series that are 3-0 as a member of the media. And I can tell you, man, there's nothing worse. A 1-0 game when the series is 3-0 and it could go either way. And there is so much riding on that one goal. And I'm thinking about it the other way as a media guy. It's like, oh, it's home. Time to go home potentially, right? Just shut it down and go home. Like the whole operation now needs to uproot and move again, Brownie. And it's a big operation, a Stanley Cup Conference Final playoff series.
Yeah, no, it changed a lot of people's plans, that game. Tonight, I think everyone thought that series was over. What's really funny, you start to overlook really good teams. Carolina's a really good team. You don't make it to where they are this year in the playoffs, not being a really good team. But everybody thought that Florida was winning tonight. Everybody. We're talking in Edmonton about, okay, we got to win in 5 because Florida's winning in 4. Just like the narrative here in Edmonton. It's, okay, the Oilers are going to win. I mean, look at how badly they've outplayed them 7 of 9 periods, and everyone talking on the street, this is a series the Oilers are going to win. What are they going to win in? But you look at it this way, if Dallas somehow sneaks a win out tomorrow, it's a best of 3 and 2 games are in Dallas. So as much as the Oilers have been the better team for 7 of the 9 periods and a lot better, the Dallas Stars only need one really good game or one fantastic game out of their goaltender to make this a little more interesting in a best of 3 with 2 games on home ice. Yeah. So tomorrow night's game is huge, and it's huge for both teams. But as an Oiler fan, and this will go to what you talk about, I'm sure the Oiler fans would love to see the Oilers come out really good and score a couple goals early so that the stress level isn't as high as it has been on certain nights at Rogers Place.
Meanwhile, Brown would be sitting there with his feet up watching, going, doesn't matter.
Don't matter. Wake me up for the third.
3-0, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Not for this Oilers team.
That was the scoreboard brought to you by Canadian Club. I want to get to some adjustments. We'll focus a little bit with Dallas here because we already talked about the Oilers and their potential lineup adjustments. But our core adjustments are brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, they have your back when it comes to health and safety compliance. From creating and managing a tailored health and safety program, meeting all legislation and core requirements, HSE Core supports client operations every step of the way. Check them out online, hsecor.com. Pete DeBoer today with a thought on what he's seen in the series.
I think probably for me the biggest factor so far in the 3 games has been we're chasing every game. We're behind in every game, pushing for offense. And if you're a couple feet out of position pushing for offense and the puck goes the other way with some of the guys they have over there on the ice, you're in trouble. And I think that was kind of the case last night. I thought, we had a great second period. We're behind in the game, which has been the story for the entire series so far, chasing the game. And when you haven't scored and you're pushing for that goal, they have that ability that they don't need a lot of looks the other way. It's in the back of the net. So we've got to either get a lead or be a little more patient in those situations, knowing how dangerous they are going the other way.
So, Brownie, I know you think for the Oilers, scoring first doesn't necessarily matter because they have the firepower to get themselves back in. But not scoring first has become an issue for the Dallas Stars. The bulk of their games, almost all of them, they haven't been able to score first. So is it more of a priority for them for the reason DeBoer just painted out there because they got to play different chasing?
Oh, 100%. When I talked earlier, I said that it doesn't matter what the Oilers do early, but it certainly does for the Stars. That's why that power play was so crucial. Yeah. That they would have gotten the other day, because if they get a lead, it changes the way they play. The Stars, when they started pushing, they started making big mistakes. Now, some of it is, you force it a little bit, but they were only 1 goal down. And then they give up, the plays they gave up, 3-on-1s, 2-on-1s, breakaways. I mean, you can't blame all of that on the fact that you're trailing in a hockey game. But we saw when they had the lead, they're very good at playing good defensive hockey. That's their structure. They become predictable for their goaltender. I mean, they didn't get the saves they wanted from Jake Ottinger, but, he faced a 3-on-1 with Connor McDavid with a one-timer. He faced a breakaway with the 50-goal scorer from 2 years ago in Zach Hyman. They faced a 2-on-1 cross-ice pass for Hyman to tip over top of him. So there's not predictability on those plays. Whereas if you're playing with the lead, you already have your guys back and you're in structure and, you're blocking guys out. Okay, here's the one shot. It's the only shot they have. So Jake Oettinger's square to it. And I think when we see Stuart Skinner at his best is when the Oilers are playing good defensive hockey and they're not giving up those breaks against. The other thing I find too with the Oilers with the Stars Shaugger is, to me, the best line for the Dallas Stars for most of the other night was their fourth line. And it was simple. They dumped the puck in and they forechecked. The other lines, they've got a lot of skilled players like Duchesne's and Robertson and Johnston and Sagan and those players. And they like carrying the puck through the neutral zone. They like trying to beat guys. They get across the blue line looking for plays. The Oilers were breaking those up. When the Oilers got held into their own zone for extended periods, it was by the fourth line of the Stars. That black wall and back, and I can't remember the third guy, and that's my fault. I'm sorry. But they just rotated the puck in the corner, and they just kept it down there, and they throw it back to the defenseman. They fired at net. That was the best the Stars looked. I think if the Stars are going to get back in this series, they got to play more like their fourth line and just create havoc down low below the goal line. Because if you're trying to beat the Oilers through the neutral zone, if they've got numbers back, they're just going to turn it over, and that's when the Oilers start getting their odd man breaks going the other way.
Yep, no question. Great analysis, Brownie. That's fantastic stuff. The other part of this is the mental part of it, the psyche. And there was a funny moment today. Pete DeBoer was asked how important it is to try and keep things light in that locker room, and who in that locker room might be able to keep things light. And he had a great response here, back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox.
Do you see your guys keep things light, and who might keep things light?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a mixture. I don't think we're a light, fun bunch, of guys. I mean, I had Joe Thornton and Brent Burns in the Stanley Cup Finals walking down the streets of Pittsburgh without their shirts off. We're not those guys. They enjoy themselves. I think they're a serious group, but they have a quiet veteran confidence to them about, being comfortable playing this time of year and being comfortable playing in these situations.
And so what he's talking about, Steve, bring it in here. I believe this was the picture. I found it on the internet back in the day during a Stanley Cup final. These two yahoos, Joe Thornton walking around in jeans, shirtless. But interesting, Brownie, how much does the personality of a group matter in these high-pressure situations? Like, this is a very important game for the Stars. You don't want to be too tight going in. And he admits, we're not exactly the fun bunch around here.
It's funny. That picture looks like something out of Duck Dynasty. Those two walking around those beards.
It was a classic.
That's funny. It does, because the stress level is huge. It's not lost on the fact in that dressing room. There's a lot of players that are older, that this is their third time in a row, 4 wins away from getting to a Stanley Cup final. How many more opportunities are they going to have for a Jamie Benn, for a Sagan, for a Duchesne, for all of those players? So the stress level is high, knowing that if we don't do it this year, I mean, Colorado's good next year. Minnesota's going to get better. Winnipeg's still knocking on the door. Can we overcome them again? So, and they're playing against a good Oiler team. So you do need to have some levity. You do need to enjoy the moment. And if your entire 7-game series or whatever this lasts, you're just stressed, or it's just a quiet mood, then you're just thinking too much, and you don't want to think too much. You want to think when the puck drops, but on your day off, you do not want to be worrying about, okay, are we good enough? Or how are we going to stop McDavid? Or we don't have hints. Like, you have to have someone making it fun, and it's important every team has that character on their team. Somebody that is just knows at the right moment to say something. I mean, one of the greatest goaltenders that ever played, Marc-Andre Fleury, is also one of the greatest pranksters in hockey, and everyone talks about him. He understood how hockey and being in a dressing room is supposed to be fun. So I don't know what the Stars dressing room is like, but they're in a really cool situation right now. They're in the semifinals. They are 3 wins away from making it to the Stanley Cup Finals. They have to understand it, and they have to enjoy it. And if it just becomes too much of a job, then when they come on the ice, it's just, I think you lose a little bit to the team on the other side that's got some swagger. And right now the Oilers have a ton of swagger, both on and off the ice.
All right. Sam Steele, the third member of that fourth line. Blackwell.
I'm embarrassed.
The local product.
No, I'm embarrassed by that. I've watched him as a bantam hockey player, U15 player too. So he is a good kid. So I apologize to the Steele family. I just want to say Steele he's had a good series. That fourth line has been very good for the Dallas Stars.
Well, your observations about them last game, bang on too. 75% Corsi, 7-1 shots for that fourth line in that game. That matters when you get a fourth line that does that. Great stuff, Brownie. Quality analysis. That's our core adjustments brought to you by HSE Core Services. When we come back, Evander Kane in conversation one-on-one with the big guy. And then ask us anything as well. Got a great number here on an off night on the stream. We really appreciate you being on board. So send Steve your questions. We'll answer them in Ask Us Anything. Lots still ahead here on Got Your Back, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has been delivering a high-quality golf experience to Edmonton and area. This beautiful private club, located on Highway 21 just south of Sherwood Park, occupies 160 acres and presents a challenging yet adventurous 18-hole design. A beautiful clubhouse, fully stocked pro shop, and warm, friendly staff truly make it feel like you belong to something unique and special. Visit www.belvederegcc.com.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
Join over 250,000 Canadians who have upgraded to Canada's best mattress. Douglas is proudly made in Canada and ships directly to your door for free. Douglas is easy to set up. Enjoy perfectly balanced comfort and an easy-to-clean machine washable cover. Get a free sleep bundle with your Douglas mattress. Try risk-free for 365 nights. Get your Douglas mattress today.
Paul Wood says Struddy probably kept it light when he played. I guarantee you, Jason Strudwick would have been the guy in the big game trying to calm the nerves and keep it light for the young fellas. All right, time now to take a lap. Brought to you by Acon. If you're a skilled tradesperson or construction professional and you're looking for work in Western Canada, they want to hear from you. Get the resume together and fire it off via email. trades@acon.com is the email address. That's trades@acon.com. They're building some of the largest multi-year industrial projects in Western Canada, exciting projects that you can be part of. Again, if you're a skilled tradesperson or construction professional, send your resume to trades@acon.com. Lots of quality content available over on tsn.ca today. Pierre Lebrun and I had a great conversation. He knows the Dallas Stars well, covered them through that first round series against the Colorado Avalanche. So lots of discussion between Pierre and I and what he thinks the Dallas Stars have going on. So make sure you hop over to the website and check that out as well. And Evander Kane, I caught up with him. If you want to see the video version of that, that's also available on tsn.ca and our YouTube channel. But for now, here's the audio. Evander Kane in conversation earlier today. Well, Evander, I know getting better game after game is kind of the goal in the playoffs, to continue building your game. If you think about where the team started this year and where your game sits right now, how impressed are you with this group and what you've been able to do here, where you're at?
Yeah, I think, in the playoffs, you want to build your game, but you got to have it really right away, and you got to have it often. So, you're not always going to have your A game every night, but you got to find ways to win. It's a results business in the postseason, and that's really, at the end of the day, all that matters. But we're happy with obviously where we're sitting in the series. We want to come out and have an even better performance tomorrow night. One of the things that you were working on right from the get-go was hanging on to leads, doing a better job with that lead. Last game, you go into the third period with that worst lead in hockey, a couple of goals, and it felt like you leaned into it
as opposed to maybe hanging back? What do you think the difference was there that let you do that? It's almost like you learned the lesson.
Yeah, I mean, look, we understand what happened, even though we know it was on the penalty trouble in game one. But we want to be a team that's knowing that when we do get a lead, we're not going to let go of it. So. And then obviously coming off the second period where, they spent a good majority of the time in our own zone, we wanted to have a good response. And Connor's goal obviously at the end of the second was huge, and we wanted to use that as some momentum, and we were able to do that.
We watched you grinding through last playoffs, trying to contribute, trying to be a factor. Clearly you were very hurt at the time. What does this mean to you to be back with another chance here at this time of year, when it means so much, and to be quite a bit healthier, I would presume?
Yeah, no, it's refreshing for me mentally. It's nice to be feeling good at this time of the year, and obviously when you go through what we went through as a group last time, what I went through individually, and losing in Game 7, and at the same time not being able to be a part of that Game 7 was difficult. You never know. I've been around long enough. You never know if you're ever going to get that chance again. And now we're knocking on the doorstep to have an opportunity like that. And we need to continue to play well. And obviously it's a bigger game tomorrow.
Has this series been less nasty or vitriolic than you expected it to be?
I don't know. I think in a way I look back at last year's series. After the first 3 games, I'd probably say this series is a little bit more physical with maybe just some of the guys that I didn't feel last year was, incredibly physical either against Dallas. I think this year there's probably a little bit more of that. I think we have more guys buying into that too as a group. And, whether a team is, trying to play that tough physical game or intimidating game, I think it doesn't matter to us. That's the game we want to play. That's the game we're going to play, no matter who the opponent is. And I think that's, something that's helping us and giving us an extra edge and a little bit of a difference than last year.
Last one, wanted to ask you about Stuart Skinner. Local product, right? He's from the area, grew up watching this team. Yeah. Yet in this market, probably the most talked about Oiler all season long, the ups and downs and the waves that he has to ride. Wasn't a great start for him, but he bounces back and doing what he's doing now. What are your observations about the way Stu handles being in this market? And how impressed are you with what he's been able to do bounce back-wise?
Yeah, I think, goalie obviously is a very lonely position. It's an incredibly important position, and the magnifying glass, especially in a Canadian market, is always on the net. And he's a guy that, from being around him and obviously being in the room, he seems to handle it pretty well. It would be inhumane to say things probably don't bother him. They probably do, but I think clearly the way he processes it, he shakes it off pretty quickly and is able to bounce back. And, one thing about Stu is he has a lot of self-belief and a lot of confidence internally. And I think, when you have that true confidence, even when things aren't going well, you can get back in the net and seize that next opportunity, and he's done that.
He says he's able to shut out all the outside noise. Do you, or do you kind of revel in it?
Do I shut out the outside noise? I pay attention to the outside noise, but it really doesn't mean a whole lot to me. So, I always like to be in the know and be aware of what's going on, just so, I can have good responses for you guys sometimes. But, at the end of the day, the noise doesn't play on the ice. So, Stu's doing a great job of performing, and we're going to need him to continue that.
Appreciate your time, Evander. Thanks.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right, that is Evander Kane in conversation earlier today. That interview available on tsn.ca and our YouTube channel, as well as a bunch of other content with Pierre Lebrun and I today. Brownie, you and I know firsthand that if Evander Kane doesn't like something you say, he is not afraid to come up and have a conversation with you about it. It's always sporting, respectful, and he does pay attention to it. He's a guy that can handle it. What do you make of it? Tons of confidence from Evander Kane today. What do you make of the interview?
Well, the first thing I would say, and I've said this before about him, he's got a job in media when it's done. He is as well-spoken a hockey player as you will find, for whether it's the knowledge, but just the way he talks. It is incredible listening to him talk. He sounds like a guy that's been in the press box doing games for 15, 20 years. He's really, really good at that. 2 things that stood out. Three things. First, the one he talked about, we're getting older. You don't know when you're going to get back in this situation. This is what we just talked about with the Dallas Stars. A bunch of older players. This is their 3rd straight year. How important it is for them to get to that next level, because will they be here again? And Kane is an older hockey player now, and I'm sure he hopes that he has some good years left. But as you get older, you start wondering, I mean, am I going to get a chance to hoist Stanley Cup? And when you get as close as Dallas and Edmonton, Florida and Carolina are right now, let's get over that hump. Because if you get there, you just need to win 4 more and you get to hold the Stanley Cup. So I noticed that. I loved how he talked about Stuart Skinner and talked about it is the toughest job. It's a lonely job. But it's probably eating at him at times, but he shrugs it off. And that's huge as a goaltender. I remember Tom Barrasso used to say, forget about the goal as soon as it goes by me. Because it's done. There's nothing I can do about that one, but I can do something about the next shot. So I think that was a good talk on him. And I did like when he talked about the fact that it does not matter who we play, how they play, what anything about them. All that matters is us. We have an identity, and we're going to play to our identity. And we'll let other teams try and figure us out. So I think that's something that Knobloch has brought with this team. They've bought into it, and they play a way of hockey right now at playoff time, and they force other teams to take notice. And so far, I think the rest of the National Hockey League has noticed the Edmonton Oilers here in the playoffs.
100%. All right. That was Taking a Lap, brought to you by our friends over at Acon. And thanks again to Evander Kane for taking a little extra time. He did a ton of media today, and it was a really busy day, but he didn't hesitate, and we always appreciate that. Saw a comment come in here from, this one's from Billy. So Billy says, Rishaug needs to stop reprimanding the Oil fan base. He's turning into Jason Gregor. A mention for our buddy there. A little constructive criticism can accomplish wonders. So, Billy, I'm interested to know, what did you feel is critical? How are we being critical of the fan base? Respect your thoughts. Maybe expand on that a little bit, and I'll get to that and ask us anything. So give me a little bit more detail on what you mean there, because I'd love to engage in that dialogue with you. Steve, hop in here, buddy. Let's rock and roll on our poll and wrap it up, buddy. What do we got?
Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. Hold on.
Oh, that's okay. No, let's do that then. We're talking about... Oh, okay. Wait a minute. There we go. Ask us anything. Brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. We're basically getting into that segment anyways, pal. No harm, no foul. So if your mortgage needs renewal, you got to have a conversation with Maria, because a lot of times, the bank will just have options for you immediately, and it just feels like, just snap your fingers and do it. Quite often there are options available to you that you don't even know, and Maria is an expert. She's done this for Randine and I. She can give you a bunch of different options, a bunch of different rates, a bunch of different strategies, quite frankly, to do the best job for you to make your money work for you properly in some tough times. So highly recommend you give Maria a call. Mortgagesbymaria.ca is the website, and it is time for Ask Us Anything. So, Steve, hop on in here, buddy, and wrap up the poll first and foremost.
Alrighty. So, the poll, once again, the question was, whose expiring contract should be the Oilers' top priority to re-sign this offseason? I probably should have reworded it to say, other than Bouchard, whose contract should be. But we can look at it that way. So, Bouchard was 79% of the votes.
Yep.
No surprise there. And coming in second place was Connor Brown with 11%. After that was Corey... predicted. Yeah, Corey Perry with 6%, and then Trent Frederick with only 2% of the votes. Who would you guys put as your second priority? Well, I guess you did discuss that, but
no, I'm with Brownie though. I think Connor Brown is important. He's important for the penalty kill. The interesting one for me is Corey Perry though, Brownie, because I think McDavid and Draisaitl love having him on this team. I think they appreciate and respect the hell out of him and love having him there for his experience. The guy is an all-timer. So I wonder though, are you paying him like he's what is he, 16 regular season goals for the, what's the dollar figure look like? Cause the odometer's ticking over another year, buddy.
Yeah. I think you have to look at what the Oilers salaries are going to be next year, and then you fit him in, but he's going to be 40 years old. And going forward, is he more important than Trent Frederick? How old is Frederick? He's in mid-20s, isn't he? He's not very old. So to me, it's Connor Brown is ahead of the two of them. When that trade happened, we said, well, this trade is only a good trade for the Oilers if they re-sign Frederick, who really, he's been fine in the playoffs, but he's a fourth-line guy that really, his impact on the game isn't as high as what the expectation was by the fan base when they made that trade. And I remember like media too. Everyone's like, when Frederick gets in here, when he's out, wait till you see what he can do, how he can change a game. But other players have just played better. And that's a good thing. That's the thing. The Oilers have got some very good depth, and you can move him down in the lineup. And now you got a physicality on your fourth line.
Yeah, 100%. And part of the issue too, like Frederick probably isn't anywhere near 100%. The other thing too is let's see what happens with Evander Kane next season, right? So he's got another year left on the deal. Let's see which way the whole thing goes. If the Oilers decide, that he fits and they're going to bring him back and make it work, then great. But you want Trent Frederick because he brings an element that you don't have a lot of, and especially we'll see which way it ends up going with Evander Kane. So, anyways, that's our YouTube poll brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. We did get an answer from Billy. He said, Rishaug, fans being harsh on players, Skinner in particular. So Billy thinks that I'm overstating it. And I think this comes from my question to Evander Kane about the market. I disagree respectfully, though, Billy, because I really do think that this is a voracious online market. There is more traffic, and Steve, you would know this being a member of the Oiler web team. The Oiler, they cover these metrics at the NHL. The Oiler fan base provides more online activity, more hits than any other franchise in the National Hockey League. I think a lot of years it's almost double what the next team is, Steve. And so with that comes, a lot of naysayers as well. It's just math. There's more people. And they tend to be the loudest. And when things are bad with Skinner, it gets loud, it gets intense, and it's loud because there's just a sheer volume of it. So this is a tougher market. It's really loud here. When the highs are high, great. When the lows are low, it's really, really loud here. And that's real for players who grew up with telephones. And it takes an effort, Brownie, to put those phones away and ignore it. And it takes discipline. And it's all anybody wants to talk about anywhere you go. So I do think it is different.
Well, it's funny. And I'll just tell a quick story about that. I do a lot of events for, I can't say the client name because it's not a sponsor on the show, but it's with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is their guy. So we do hot stoves with R&H, and he brings different players all the time. And he was good friends with Devin Shore, who you've covered the team, might be one of the nicest people you've ever met. I love D Shore. Like, he is just a good human being.
Yeah.
And we were doing a hot stove for a crowd, and it was right around trade deadline. And I asked both players, trade deadline coming up, the 24 hours leading up to it, are you guys on social media? Are you following it? Are you following TSN or one of the other sports apps? Like, what are you doing? And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins said he kind of puts his phone away. He talked a little bit about it. And then Devin Shore, he goes, before I came to Edmonton, I was a guy that followed social media. I was huge into social media. I followed everything. I was always on the phone. But I came to Edmonton, and some of the things that people would say about me, I had to get off social media. It was so bad. And I was up on stage. I'm like, how can anyone say anything negative about Devin Shore, a fourth line, 13th forward that gave everything he had, never complained about a thing, that he got off social media because of how negative it was towards him. So there is some validation to what you said. And I got buddies. I know what they say about players on the team, certain players, who they love, who they don't love. And I know that Stuart Skinner takes a lot of heat. We got a phone call the other night on our show with Chad. If Pickard comes back, like, will they be putting Pickard in? And I'm like, how is that even a question? Stuart Skinner just had his best game of the year. And he's got 4 of his last 5 games. He's got 3 shutouts and a 1-goal game. And the 1-goal game was better than the 3 shutouts. So, yeah, it would be tough playing in a market in Canada. And it'd be 1,000 times tougher if you're a hometown boy who, that when things go sideways, your family, your friends, I don't know his family. So does his grandpa and grandma around? If his mother reading these things, that would be really hard, really, really hard. And I understand people have the right to do whatever they want. I just don't always agree with it.
Some stranger says telephones. When was the last time I heard that word? Brownie, I think you dropped the telephones somewhere in that answer. Steve, go ahead, buddy. What do we got tonight, my friend?
Okay. A lot of directions to go. And first of all, Shaugger, a lot of praise for your one-on-one with Kane there. And
thank you
Penner's
kindly.
Pancakes comes in and says, is Kane one of your top guys to sit down and have sit-downs with? Not talking post-game stuff, but actual sit-downs. And I'll just take that to the next question from Unfortunate Son, said both Rob and Ryan, who is a top interview in your careers?
So I'll start on the question about Evander Kane. Yeah, and Kane's great, even if like post game, he always gives pretty measured thoughts. But when you get Evander Kane on an off day, he can really shine in that situation because, as Brownie said, he's really articulate. He's not afraid to tell you what he thinks. He's a smart guy. You can tell he thinks about his answers, and he's smart. He's pretty smooth in there. But yeah, he certainly is a guy that. And the other thing about Evander is he's not afraid for it to get feisty. You can ask Evander Kane anything you want to ask him. And if he doesn't like it, he'll push back, but he understands the way the game is played and all is fair. So I respect that part about the way he handles his media. He doesn't have to shy away from the tough stuff. And in fact, he welcomes it and is often prepared for it. Brownie, you got something as far as interviews you've had on different shows over the years?
Yeah, I don't per se interview like you do. I do lots of hot stoves where I'm on stage and we talk with players. One of my favorites, obviously, is Struddy. Struddy and I have done probably 50 or 60 hot stoves together, telling stories. But as far as outside of Struddy, my favorite is Brian Trottier. One of the nicest human beings you've ever met.
Yes.
His storytelling is fantastic. He's got great stories. I mean, you have to go through his stats to realize how great he was. Like, he is one of the top 30 players in the history of the NHL, and that might be he might be top 20, might be top 15. That's how good a player Brian Trottier was, and he's even better as a human being. So Trotz would be my favorite interview to sit on stage and just tell stories with, and then go have a beer with afterwards, because then the stories get even more colorful.
That's awesome. My favorite would be I sat down with Adam Sandler and Burt Reynolds at the same time. I got to interview both of those guys. I was on a media junket when they did a remake of The Longest Yard. And so I flew out to Beverly Hills, saw LL Cool J in the elevator. And so I sat down with Burt Reynolds and Adam Sandler, and Adam Sandler was really funny. We were joking around a little bit. It was really cool. And then I interviewed a pretty inebriated Michael Bublé at the gold medal game of a World Juniors one year. And that was pretty unreal. Yeah, spending some time with Michael Bublé. So those two would be up there pretty high on my list, Steve-O.
Right on. Okay, let's shift gears here. So Dallas Scarlett says, is Ottinger on a cold streak, or are the Oilers making him look more human, as the Oilers seem to be able to do that to high caliber goalies? What do you think, Brownie?
A little bit of both. I don't think Ottinger's played as well as he's capable of playing. I think he should have had the McDavid shot from distance. I think that was the third goal, and a huge goal at that point. To me, that's one. I mean, it was a good shot by Connor McDavid, and it's hard to say that you should stop something that Connor shoots, but I'm like, that was from distance, and not only did he beat him really, really clean. But I also do believe that the Oilers do really good at pre-scouting. They are very good. I don't know who does the scouting, whether it's the goalie coach sitting down with the video coach, but they really know the weaknesses. Every time we see, as the series goes on, they start to find it. A couple of years ago, the LA Kings went and got that goalie at the trade deadline or late, and he eventually went to Ottawa too afterwards. But he was he was fantastic early in the series, and then the Oilers eventually just, embarrassed him as the series went on. So I think this is a little bit of both. I don't think Ottinger's played as well as he's capable of, but I do believe the Oilers are a very skilled team that if they know what your weakness is, and you play a team up to 7 games in a series, you're able to exploit it, and the Oilers are very good at that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think just listen to what the head coach said, right? Listen to what Peter DeBoer said. You could hear the hesitation in his voice. And again, he came back today and he backed Ottinger and said, we know what we're going to get from him. But expectation versus what they're getting, you know that the Dallas Stars are probably expecting more than what they're getting in net. I'll throw out a quick one here. Dallas Scarlett says, Shaugger, didn't you interview Crosby after his golden goal in Vancouver? Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one. So that one instead of Adams.
just a minor one there. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
There's a stamp with that picture on it. So yeah, that'd be a big one.
Yeah, that was a cool moment. Although I was mad about the way that interview went. I should have asked him one more question instead of wrapping it up, but that's a story for another day.
The Diplomatico, he asked this before the show started. He said, Zuby, which is now Steve, as the voice of the fan and the resident expert on goalies' psyche, please help get the message out for the goalie chant for Game 4. It's Jacob. It's not Otter or Jake. So Diplomatico will do our best to get the
Steve, he was asked about that today. One of the reporters said, "Is your first name Jacob?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were referring to me." It was quite funny at the start of his scrum today. So he's hearing you, Oiler fans, and he had a chuckle about it. By the way, you're not going to want to hear this, Oiler fan. Jake Ottinger is a delight. He is an absolute delight. Talks on game days, does not care. We'll sit in there and answer all the questions. He's cordial. He never gets upset. He never gets frustrated. Much like Stu Skinner, these two are a reporter's dream in a conference final, having these two goaltenders playing for each team. So if you want to hate him, keep it to on ice. Off the ice, the man is a delight.
Yeah, we'll keep hating him, but thank you. Braden Johnson says, are we seeing Rantanen burned out from carrying the Stars through the first 2 rounds, or are the Oilers doing that good of a job at shutting him down? What do you think, Brownie?
That's a good question. Again, a bit of both. I think Rantanen doesn't have a running mate. In Colorado, he had McKinnon, and they could feed off of each other. And he's not getting, like, when he played with McKinnon, he would be the finisher. McKinnon would find him in areas. He's not getting that. Rupi Hintz wasn't setting him up. Granlund isn't really a playmaker. He works hard, and he's got a great shot. So Rantanen's going to have to do the heavy lifting. He's got to create his own scoring chances. He's a big man. I wouldn't say he's fleet of foot. So he's going to have, it's all hard work when he has to get a goal. It's like picking the puck up, fighting off 2 guys because the defending has been so good, and then creating a chance on his own. He's not getting any open looks. He's not getting the 3-on-1 that Connor McDavid had. He's not getting being able to walk off the wall like Connor McDavid had, or the breakaway that Hyman had. So I think that the Oilers are doing a good job on it. I just think he hasn't had a running mate. There's a lot of players on the Dallas Stars who are struggling to find the back of the net. And I think it affects a Rantanen because now he's got to play make, he's got to forecheck, and he's got to try and finish. And the Oilers are doing a good job not allowing him to do that.
Just taking a quick look at Mikko Rantanen's even strength numbers here. Just going to grab it. So he's played 50 minutes in the series at even strength, 53% Corsi. He's being outscored 3-1 in the series, but out shooting his opposition 30-17. So just to give you a sense at even strength, what's going on when Mikko Rantanen is out there on the ice. Steve, let's do a couple more, buddy, and then we'll wrap her up.
Okay, so many great ones, so apologies to all the great questions in the chat, but just because we got Brownie here, ask us anything. I would like to know what went through Brownie's head when he had a guy like Hextall chasing him. I know he started running.
I can't say the word that went through my head, but it started with an F, and it was really loud in my head. Oh no! It was funny. It's funny, this story, because the video, you can watch the video. It's on YouTube or whatever, all those places. You can see him coming after me. I had just scored, I believe it was the 9th goal, and it made it 9-2 in a playoff game. And I looked over, Dan Quinn was coming to high-five me, and I saw over his shoulder that Hextall was coming after me with a stick over his head. And I'm like, okay, if I fight him, he's going to beat me up. If I fight him and I get lucky, then the rest of his team is going to beat him up. And I do not want to be the guy in every video the rest of my life getting beat up by Ron Hextall. So I'm like, I got to get out of here as fast as I can. And I never understood why he came after me until it was probably 2 years ago. I think my son found a video. I scored the 8th goal in that game as well. And I celebrated from the goal line all the way to center ice, scoring the 8th goal in an 8-2 game. So I had a feeling that it wasn't the 9th goal that really pissed Ron Hextall off. It was the celebration after number 8. And he came after me. And I mean, I'm not faster than many people, but goaltenders with all that equipment on, if I have a head start, I can usually beat them in a race.
Love it. That's awesome.
JL says, Shaugger, was it the jet lag that caused you to be so pissy on overdrive today?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't think Struddy or I are going to be invited back on that show. No, yeah, we got into it. It was good with Noodles and O-Dog and Hayes. I made the point that they talked about why is Leon Draisaitl talking about how they can handle the pressure in Edmonton? Because there's so much talk about the pressure in the Canadian market. And the point I made was that, I mean, the narrative on the Oilers players, they show up in the big moments. They may win, they may lose, but I mean, overall, they've consistently showed up in the big moments and played well. They've proven, can you win with them or not? Like that, the Oilers big guns have answered that. And I think that's still what's hanging out there for Leafs fans. And then I dug into them as a media market a little bit about maybe a bit of overreaction after the Leafs lost Game 5. I mean, the market went nuts. The media went nuts. It was a full autopsy on the entire organization after losing a game, and you're still in a series. It's 3-2. So we got into it a little bit, but it was sporting and fun. And I'll have fun going back on there next year at some point. I have a feeling I'm in the Struds and I are in the penalty box.
I thought it was well done. I think it's worth a listen for sure.
Yeah.
Personally.
Thanks, pal.
Yeah. Let's end with just a fun one here from number 1. Says, what is your favorite DJ started sing-along with 6 minutes remaining and a 3-goal lead? I know personally for me, that would be Living on a Prayer.
Question. Which
well,
one
okay, so
like?
I'll answer it. Well, Living on a Prayer. Remember, I think it was last year when Living on a Prayer started playing, and then Kane scored right off the face-off. It was a beautiful moment. It was hilarious. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But
love it. Brownie, you got one in particular? Something come to mind?
I like Country Roads. I like when they get a little John Denver. Everyone knows the words. It's got to be a song that everyone knows, not just like the young kids or the old people. It's got to be a song that everybody in the crowd knows, and a feel-good song.
Agreed.
And Country Roads always seems to get everybody going.
Good one.
How about this answer? I'm going to trump you both. How about the national anthem at the start of the game? How about that little sing-along? Hey, how about that? How's that for goosebumps?
Yeah, it is, but that's not with 3 minutes to go. I know. Come on.
I'm being a smart ass.
But it is pretty cool. The Canadian national anthem, when we all, I'm part of the group that's there at the game, but when all the fans start singing along, it is pretty cool in Rogers Place. It really, really is.
I looked up in the press box last series. Matthias Ekholm was singing the Canadian national anthem too with the fans. I thought that was kind of cool. He was singing along. And Derek Ryan sort of chuckled at him.
Yeah, we've
adopted Alberta.
Absolutely.
There's actually, I'll say real quick, there's a great video on Evander Kane's wife's Instagram of their son belting out the national anthem in yesterday's game as well. It was pretty cute.
Oh, good stuff. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. We're going to wrap the show with our play of the day, and I am happy about this one. I'm excited about this one. Brought to you by Gallery Dental. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience, providing modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date dentistry, sedation, implants, and so much more. Contact Gallery Dental, YEG.com for more. The Edmonton Elks organization announcing today it will be 50 years for Dwayne Mandrusiak. He is returning to the Double E to get his 50th year. As everybody recalls, after 49 seasons with the organization, he was let go, not brought back for that 50th year. It was a tough time. It was a contentious time. It was a difficult time. It sucked that it happened. It took way too long for this to happen. And I've hated this. I have hated this for the last few years, that the management in place could not find a pathway to get this very obvious and much needed thing done. So Dwayne Mandrusiak returning for his 50th season, rejoining the organization in a joint community and historian role. I'm here to tell you, people, Dwayne Mandrusiak never wanted to just go down there and wave on the big screen and have it roll over to 50 years and hooray. And then he never wanted that. Dwayne Mandrusiak wanted a meaningful role, and he wanted to work for his 50th year. He worked hard for the first 49. He wasn't going to come back as some sort of token opportunity for 50. So he's coming back. He's got a role. He'll be part of it. Brownie, it's about bloody time.
No, sometimes it takes a while for someone to realize what the right and smart and honest thing to do. And the Elks finally figured it out.
Other announcements today. Part of the club's plans to honor the past through the reinstallation of the once an Eskimo, always an Eskimo sign, proudly displayed inside the team's locker room. They're also welcoming back the fire truck to game days, which has been updated. Chris Morris, Ed Hervey and company. It took guys that understand, that have been in it, have been part of it, to make it a no-brainer. It was those guys. They know Mandrusiak. They were on the ride with him for years. Just get it done. And they did. So good for them. Congratulations to Dwayne. Look forward to seeing you at the stadium this year. That was our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. Boys, great show tonight. I think we did an okay job with the number 2 star missing, Brownie.
Oh, Strud's left? I didn't even notice he was gone. Oh, okay. I'm probably getting text from him. He's probably looking for an Uber right now. Get home.
Well played, sir.
I've seen him tipsy in a bar before. He needs an Uber.
Steve-O, you came in out of the bullpen. You did a hell of a job tonight, buddy. Great to see you again. I know you're loving the ride, buddy. Have fun.
So
I know we'll see you again soon, but you must be loving this, pal.
Yeah, having an absolute blast. My daughter's 8 now. She was going through stats of the last game with me. It was a father's dream. It was beautiful. I'm having an absolute blast right now.
Awesome. All right. Thanks to all of you for joining us on the live stream or downloading us in audio form. We really appreciate your contributions. Subscribe if you can. Tell a friend. Go leave us a review on iTunes. And we will be back after Game 4 for a full episode. And yes, Struddy will be back on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta. Have a great night, everybody. Talk soon. See ya.